So today we're going to work on a little project here, and this is one I've wanted to do for a while, but I had to get the parts in. And what we're going to do is install a USB port system, which unfortunately the cat is sitting on top of. Hey kitty. As much as I hate to move the kitty, we might have to in just a moment. We'll get everything staged up first, and then we'll go ahead and do that. So here's what we want to do. I have my dash cam and I have my GPS. As of right now, the Ram ProMaster does have two power outlets over here. And we have a standard USB here. We have a DC car adapter there. Those are running up. I have the clipboard feature. And then this is a little camera mount as well if I need it. But what I want to do is I want to free up those ports. So I found a USB split port, which is going to take our 12 volt battery system, and it's going to put two USB ports out at the top. And that's what we're going to do. So that way I will have two power outlets coming over here, and those guys will just be powered right off of up here, freeing up the other two ports for anything that I might need. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get into the electrical box. Now I took this guy down and I took the tray off here simply to be able to reach my hand up and grab the wires. So basically we need to run a red wire and a black wire up into here, and then those are going to stick up here, and then we're going to go ahead and attach our device there, and I'll get it for you guys as soon as I'm ready for it, because I don't want to move the kitty right now. He's comfortable. But how we're going to tie this in is looking down at our fuse box here. See these two yellow fuses? The second fuse is the passenger side power window. And what we're going to do is we are going to tie one of these guys into it. So this is a fuse jumper. It's going to convert one fuse into two. So the closest one is the original fuse. The furthest one back attaches to this. So we're going to run our red wire directly into this guy right here. And then our black wire, we just need to tie it onto anything on the chassis. We could tie it onto this bolt most likely. I tested this bolt. Now that I have this guy apart, I'm going to put it onto this bolt if I can. So what we're going to need to do is double check if I get voltage running from this fuse into this. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and run the black wire so I have both wires in here. And really I took this stuff off just because this was impossible to get these wires run without it. But otherwise it's just going to slip right down here, pop right out the top, and then I'm going to have my little box over here, and we'll see what that looks like when we are ready. So step one, we're going to pull this fuse out here. And I'm just going to go ahead and temporarily use that fuse in this section here, which will make sure that everything is set right. And then we're going to slide this guy right back in like that. All right, so now what we need to do is I need to run my voltmeter. And then in my voltmeter, I'm going to run my red wire here. I'm going to run my black wire up to that spot. Of course, I got to plop this guy back down. There it goes. And I'm going to test it onto this bolt here. And as long as this bolt is chassised into the frame, this will show me 12 volts. If it's not, I'm just going to go ahead and use this bolt down here. So I have to put down the camera to check that. Cat voluntarily moved, so here is the device. You can see it has black and red on this side here. And that is our input 12 volts. And then the output is 5 volt, 3 amp max. And then we have two USB ports on the back side. So that's going to be mounted either up here or here on the side. What we're going to do is it does turn out that this screw does work. So I'm going to run the black wire just right under here. And if you don't know why you can run the black wire to anything on the frame, the batteries, basically the whole chassis of the van is your common ground. And so anything tied to it is basically tied to the black end of the battery. And then our red end, we just need to tie it directly into something on the fuse box. Now I'm going to flip this fuse around so that this goes up instead of down. And then we're going to replace this with a 5 amp fuse. So we're going to put our 20 amp fuse back in the first block and a 5 amp fuse back in the second block. So the only unexpected result here is that this fuse is not supposed to be running if the engine is off and the door is shut. And it's actually running. The good news is it works. The bad news is I need to refuse that somewhere else. But that's the easy part. It's just popping it out and putting it into another fuse block somewhere. We'll figure that out. But I need to get this reassembled because it's getting dark out. And if I have to finish this tomorrow, I'll finish it tomorrow. Alright, so you can see where the jumper fuse is and over there. And I ran that to the bolt, which is right back behind here. And then what we end up doing is when I finished up last night, the power was always on. I'm like, well, what's up with that? I didn't think the power was always supposed to be on that. Well, it turns out I did some researching into this, and everything in this fuse box is always on. Even though there's things like that's tied into the power windows, which doesn't work right now because I guess the computer is controlling that somewhere other than the red circuit. And so since everything there is in, I have two options. One is I can run the line instead from an accessory fuse under the hood. But I didn't want to do that because there is a better solution, and that is simply to wire in a switch. So this is a temporary switch right here. I'm going to get one that is more elegant and I can attach to here. So I actually put this guy, my mount down here with Velcro. Let's see if we can actually see that. It's starting to rain a little bit, so I'm trying to be careful here. But you can see here, I Velcroed this guy down, ran those wires behind it, and then we run these guys over here. So my two USB ports are there. And now this is on a switch. So now I just hit the switch and the GPS turns on and the dash cam turns on. So now I have a way that I can run them. So I think that the switch is a better option. The downside is I have to remember to take it off, except I usually pull down the GPS and the dash cam when I'm not driving anyway, unless I'm going to be there for a short period of time. I usually pull them down just so they're not in the sun. This also gives me the ability to keep it off if I'm just doing a van readjustment, which if I have not yet taken the dash cam down, every time you turn the van on, it starts the dash cam, starts recording, blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily need it to do that either. And so having the switch is a good option. Hit the switch, and now you're going to see that the dash cam turned off, and the GPS now says, hey, we lost power. So next time I swing by a hardware store, I'm going to get a different switch, and I'm going to just wire a better elegant switch that I can Velcro in right there as well. So I'll just have right next to my door here a blink toggle switch to turn on and off the GPS and that. So now my USB ports on the front are ready to go. So if I need to charge my phone while I'm driving, I can actually do that again. I used to have to pull up my portable battery charger to do that. So there we have it. We got that, and we got a Roadster just drove by. Yeah, baby. All right. So anyway, yet another project done on the beach. This beach has been very productive for me. So just to show you what the final result looks like here, I end up getting this toggle switch, adding more Velcro in. It has never come off, and it looks a little loose, but it's actually very nice and tight. Hit the switch here, easily turns on the GPS and the dash cam. Hit it again, turns it off. This Velcro also not been a problem. I'm recording this post footage, I think about 3 months after I recorded that from, hey, I'm in a van down by the river. No, what happened? I'm in a van down, but never mind. But anyway, this works really well. This ended up just being the best solution ever. These guys are always in the way. This camera cable down here fits underneath the dash, so you don't even see it from over there. And this is just one of the best mods that I've put in on the van. So anyway, that is what the final result looks like. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you a little bit further down the road.